Hello, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at another presidential political shift. This time we're going to look at 1996 to 2008. And this was kind of suggested to me in the comments, even though this series has kind of wound down as of late. But that's what we're going to look at today. And if you want to just skip ahead to the map, as always, there will be a chapter down below in the description. But if you want to get a little bit of background about these two elections, let's go through it. First, 1996. That was the re-election of Bill Clinton. Even though the Republicans won the House and the Senate, Bill Clinton got 379 electoral votes. He carried 31 states plus D.C., and he improved on his previous total. He got 49.2% of the popular vote. The Republican was Bob Dole. He got 159 electoral votes from 19 states, good enough for just under 41% of the popular vote. And that year also had a strong third-party presence. Ross Perot, he ran again. He didn't do as well as he did in 92. He didn't carry any states, but he did get 8.4% of the popular vote. If we jump ahead to 2008, that was a landslide year for the Democrats and Barack Obama, who got 365 electoral votes. He carried 28 states plus D.C. and Nebraska's second. That was worth almost 53% of the popular vote. John McCain got 173 electoral votes. He carried 22 states, and that was good enough for 45.7% of the vote. So if we come back to the spreadsheet, we've got the states in the first column. Then we've got the 96 Clinton vote, the 96 Dole vote. Then we've got the 2008 Obama vote, the 08 McCain vote. Then the Democratic shifts between those two elections, followed by the Republican shifts. The last column is the net change between the two parties between the two elections. And then there's the usual shading. The darkest colors are 10 or more point shifts. The lightest colors are under 5-point shifts. And as always, I took most of this data from Wikipedia. I try to double check everything. I don't think there's any glaring mistakes, but it's possible a discrepancy could slip through. Either way, let's start in Alabama. In 1996, Bill Clinton got 43.2% of the vote. Bob Dole got 50.1. 12 years later, Barack Obama got 38.7. John McCain bumped it all the way up to 60.3. That's a net loss of 4.5 for the Democrats and a net gain of 10.2 for the Republicans. That's a total net change of 14.7 away from the Democrats and toward the Republicans. So that's how this works. Let's quickly go through the rest of the states. Alaska shifted 4% toward the GOP. Arizona, that was John McCain's home state in 2008, and that resulted in the state getting redder by 10.7. Arkansas had the biggest shift out of all the states. That's a massive shift in only a 3-election span, 36.7 toward the Republicans. California, double digits, 11.1 toward the Democrats. Similar in Colorado at 10.4. Connecticut, a lighter shade of blue by 4.3. Delaware, a little bit bluer by 9.8. Florida, a small red shift of 2.9. Georgia, same direction by 4%. Hawaii, and that was the biggest shift toward the Democrats by an even 20%. Idaho got redder by 6.8. Illinois toward the Democrats by 7.6. Same in Indiana by 6.6. Iowa tilted in the other direction by 0.9. Kansas leaned back toward the Democrats by 3.3. Kentucky had a big red shift of 17.1. Louisiana also by 30.8. In Maine, they had a much lighter red shift of 3.5. Maryland 9.4 toward the Democrats. Massachusetts 7.6 toward the GOP. Michigan 3.2 back toward the Democrats. Now we've got red shifts in Minnesota by 6.1, Mississippi by 8.1, and Missouri by 6.5. And now the blue shifts in Montana by just 0.5 point, Nebraska 3.8, and Nevada 11.5. New Hampshire had almost no net change after both parties gained over 5%. That results in a 0.2% shift toward the Republicans. New Jersey slightly redder by 2.3. New Mexico lurched back toward the Democrats by 7.8. New York, they got redder by 2%. North Carolina 5% bluer. North Dakota 1.9 toward the GOP, almost the same in Ohio by 1.8. Oklahoma, big swing toward the right by 23.5. Oregon 8.3 toward the Democrats. Pennsylvania, small blue shift of 1.1. Now we've got a string of red shifts. Rhode Island 5.1. South Carolina an even 3. South Dakota 4.9. Tennessee 17.5. Texas 6.8 and Utah 6.9. Now we go back in the other direction in Vermont by 14.7. Virginia 8.2 and Washington 4.5. West Virginia got a lot redder by 27.8. Wisconsin bluer by 3.6 and Wyoming again a lot redder by 19.3. Those are all the states, but we've got Washington D.C. that just hit double digits, 10.1 toward the Democrats, and your national shift is 1.3 away from the Democrats and toward the Republicans. So those are all the states, those are all of the shifts, and the best part of this is to take a look at a map to help visualize all the changes. Here it is. It's very similar shading. We've got the darkest colors. Those are 10 or more point shifts. But this time, the very lightest colors, those are under 1 point shifts. We're going to say those are the tilt margins. And we've got a few of those: Montana, Iowa, and New Hampshire. So as always, what are the takeaways from these shifts? Well, the main thing to keep in mind is 1996 had Ross Perot. He didn't run as strong of a campaign as he did in 92, but still, he was part of the Reform Party. That took away votes from Clinton and Dole. In 2008, there was no Perot, there was no super strong third party, so a lot of that third party vote in 96 is going to be allocated into Obama or McCain in 2008. But in addition to the third parties, starting in the mid-90s and jumping ahead 12 years, there were a lot of shifts happening across a lot of these states. There's some things we would expect, like Colorado and the West Coast becoming a lot bluer, although the farther up the West Coast you go, the less blue it gets. But we might also expect the Northeast to get a lot bluer. That's kind of hit or miss. There's a lot of states that got red around there, like Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey. Virginia's another state that started to become a lot more solidly blue. In the Rust Belt, most of that did shift toward Obama. He even narrowly carried Indiana in 2008. But Minnesota, that's a state we would consider to be blue. It had a decent swing toward McCain. Montana was even competitive in 2008. McCain won that narrowly. A lot of the South did get redder, including West Virginia, that had a huge lurch toward the right. Kansas got a little bluer, and you can go on and on, find other changes. But again, 2008 was a great year for the Democrats. They had the presidency as well as the House and the Senate. But even considering all that, the national popular vote actually swung toward McCain and the Republicans by 1.3. So without Perot on the ballot, McCain did gain 5, Obama gained 3.7. But when it comes down to the individual states, the changes are going to manifest in different ways. Obama had a great night, and in 96 it was also a pretty decent night for Clinton, even though he did not win the House and the Senate. It's always fascinating to take a look at these kinds of shifts. Of course, the reasons behind all these shifts, you're going to have to look a little bit more into it and draw your own conclusions. There's obviously different things happening in the country at the time. It's a little bit different kind of a video. I'm just here to show you the shifts, where they were, and to what extent. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about any of the shifts in any of these states? How do these shifts factor into politics today? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.